Israel has expanded its war. From confining itself to Palestinian territories, Netanyahu is now going into every country that has supported the cause or fought as a proxy for Iran. Therefore, the war in West Asia has become a seven-front war for Israel, from the West Bank to Gaza, to Lebanon's Hezbollah group, Houthis in Yemen and Syria, and then there is Iraq and Iran in the wings. Hello and welcome. You're watching Statecraft with me, Geeta Mohan. The opening of multiple fronts comes ahead of the first anniversary of the October 7th attacks on Israel by the Hamas. What began as a surprise attack on Israel by the Gaza-based Hamas group has evolved into a broader and more wider, volatile war encompassing both state and non-state actors. Israel is fighting wars on 5 of its 7 fronts: Gaza Strip, the West Bank, Lebanon, Yemen, Syria. The 7 fronts that Israel faces are Hamas in the Gaza Strip, Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, various Iran-backed militias in Iraq and in Syria, and Iran itself, which directly attacked Israel for the first time in April after Israeli attacks in Syria killed Iranian commanders. Initially focused on the Hamas in the south, on October 8th, Israel found itself facing rocket attacks from Hezbollah in Lebanon along its northern border. Meanwhile, Iran-based extremist groups launched intermittent drone and missile strikes from the east in Syria and Iraq. To the south, Israel is contended with the dual threat from both the Yemeni Houthis and Iran, the leader of the so-called Axis of Resistance, which according to Israel is the root cause of terror in the region. Joining me to discuss the 7-front war and the crisis in Lebanon is Yahia Tashjan, who is a West Asia expert based in Beirut in Lebanon. Now, looking at the larger picture and zooming out a little, we do know that there has been a lot of a hit that Hezbollah has taken. We will talk about whether if Hezbollah 2.0, which Rohan Gunaratne and experts such as him are talking about, would be leaner, would be stronger, and will come out after regrouping. But before that, let's just go to the larger picture and zoom out a little. We're looking at a 7-front war over here. Now, Israel has not just gone into Lebanon, it has also now gone into Syria. It is looking at Iraq, it's looking at Iran, and Hamas, of course, when it comes to Gaza and West Bank. So explain, Yahya, to us this 7-front war that one can see or that one can anticipate should Israel continue its ground offensive and other offensives in the region.
Of course, when Hamas engaged in October 7 operation, I mean, this is also a lot of questions that still we don't have answer, whether this operation was coordinated with the so-called, let's say, axis of resistance with Iran, with Hezbollah, because I remember there were a lot of speculations that Hezbollah was not aware of this operation and it was caught in surprise. And then it was forced actually to be involved and open a new front to help Hamas in Gaza. And then we also saw the Iraqi militias, the Houthis being involved. So it was a full war of the Axis resistance against Israel. Because also, from the perspective of Axis resistance and Hezbollah and Iran, the destruction of Hamas means that after that, Israel will try to immerse all its force and power against Hezbollah, because Hamas was the strongest, let's say, force in Palestine. And after that, Israel can put all its energy on Hezbollah. Therefore, Iran was going to be encircled and isolated in the region. And let's not forget that Hamas is a Sunni organization, while Hezbollah is a Shia Muslim organization based on the revolutionary ideas of the Iranian regime. And Hezbollah, I can say, is the successful project of Iran to export its revolutionary ideas. And it's very strong when it comes to power projection. So without Hezbollah, Iran would be weakened, but without Hamas, Iran would not be weakened because there are other cards Iran can play in the region, other non-state actors. So Hezbollah is very important for Iran. This is why I think that Iran has to be involved in this war because the current Iranian reformist administration are trying to disengage from the current war, but Netanyahu's speech in the UN General Assembly, he literally also threatened Tehran, saying that after Beirut, Tehran is like, or the Iranian government is dictatorial regime, it is oppressing the minorities and so forth. So this was a clear message to Iran that after Hezbollah and after Beirut, the next target will be Iran. So it's much better from their perspective maybe to be involved directly in this war and deter Israel and to trigger a regional war so that attract more diplomatic pressure by the Western countries so that they engage in a ceasefire. Though this is maybe wishful thinking, still we are not sure, given the US are involved. I mean, they are maybe busy in the presidential elections. They don't want to engage directly in the war, but the coming days, I think, will show which direction we are heading.
Right.
For the first part, yeah.
Yeah. At the heart of the war is Iran, which provides significant financial, military, and strategic support to Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and the Iraqi and Syrian Shia militias against their common enemy, Israel. The Ayatollah regime of Iran, which calls its network of proxies an axis of resistance, has been ideologically opposed to the very existence of Israel. Israel is surrounded by hostile, non-state proxies, with Iran calling the shots and is faced with threats from all sides. Israel's military actions in the war are therefore aimed at weakening Iran's regional influence by disrupting its ability to support these proxy groups. The killing of high-ranking leaders of Hezbollah and the targeted killing of Houthi rebels in Yemen are seen as direct challenges to Iran's regional strategy. Iran's response to these developments will be crucial in determining the future trajectory of the conflict. There is a risk of further escalation if Iran gets directly involved. In that case, Israel will be fighting wars on all 7 fronts. For Israel, this war has been about more than just retaliation for the October 7th attacks. They're calling it a war of survival. The question is, whose survival? Israel's or Netanyahu's? Goodbye and take care.